I covered that, I thought we could talk about a couple old world tarantula species that
Hey,
I
baby.
consider starting out with if you have this option. When I first got my old world tarantula, I believe I was keeping for about a year, and I did a ton of research. I was very hesitant, I guess, to get into the old world tarantulas as much as I wanted to. I just kind of needed that push, and eventually I did a lot of research and came across the sea darlingies. So they're super cute. They have the horn on their head, which if you've watched my channel for any amount of time, you're probably aware that if it bolts pretty quickly. That's like the biggest issue I have with mine, especially when I'm lifting the lid off of the enclosure, it'll just bolt around. But as they grow, they tend to do that less and kind of stand their ground more. But if you have that option to get an H-Bolter piece and you're really going for that like beauty factor, I would totally suggest one of them. Another species that I really enjoy working with is the H. villosilla. They are old world and they are dwarfs, but typically they're a lot more tolerant than other old world species. I see a lot more people handling them for some reason. I'm not really sure why that is. My favorite thing about them though is that they are a dwarf, and I love dwarf species, but also they have this really cool pattern that kind of looks like a cheetah. And I think it's really fitting. They look super cool. They're very quick and they will bolt. And while typically they tend to be the most tolerant of all Poecilotheria, I will say their venom is among some of the worst. So you need to be aware of that if you do decide to get a Poecilotheria. And also, they do bolt very quickly. They teleport, so just keep that in mind. So I hope this video kind of helped you decide if you're ready for an old world tarantula. If you're thinking about
Hey,
getting an old
baby.
world, comment down below what species you want. And if you already got
Hi.
your first old world, comment down below what your first old world was and what your experience was. Because I feel like that will really kind of help people decide instead of like just my opinion. Because of course you're always going to want to do research, and I think watching videos is a big part of doing research, but you're also going to want to like go into tarantula groups, talk to other tarantula keepers, vendors, breeders. It's always good to gather as much information from as many sources as possible and then just kind of deduce what you want from that. Anyway, like this video if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're not, and you want to be. Don't forget I have an Instagram that I use probably way too much. It's @tarantula.cat. You can go follow me there, and I will see you guys soon.
Hey, baby.
Like it? Are you going to be able to
You only have 7 legs, you know.
Say brachypelma forever.
Let's go. It's climbing up on the string.
Hey everyone,
Hi.
welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to have a quick chat with you guys about the revision from brachypelma to Coecatus. So before we get into this, I just want to say that I am probably going to say words wrong. Unfortunately, English is the only language that I speak, so it's really hard for me to pronounce a lot of this. If you haven't heard yet, we have to talk about something. We are learning more about the Brachypelma genus, and that actually a lot of Brachypelmas are now being reclassified into a new genus called the Coecatus. I do not speak Nahuatl. A couple of you have come forward. Not really used
Hey,
as
Mickey.
much anymore. In fact, I think some people weren't even aware that it's still
Hey,
in use,
Mickey.
but it is still in use. So I do want to remind you guys that since it is still in use, I have spoken with a few natives. For the most part, a lot of natives have been really helpful in learning the proper pronunciation of these words, but I will say that I have spoken to a couple that have felt a little mocked. Now, trust me, I used Nahuatl, which is a
Hey, Turbo.
language. So it's actually really cool that they kind of gave them that homage and said, hey, these spiders are from this land in southern Mexico. This is the language that the natives speak. This translates to black spider, which makes sense. So there is actually a entire like research paper and a couple different world and the different habitats, the different people,
Hey, Turbo.
cultures, and that's something that I think is really cool about this hobby. It's like a really small community considering it's worldwide, but we're all connected over this love of tarantulas.
Where'd you go?
You know, before I was ever into tarantulas, I had, a couple friends that were from other countries, but now today, every day I speak to some of my very best friends, a few that I've never even met in person, that live literally all around the world, Asia, Africa, Europe, and it's really cool. So I really do think it would be good if we all try to learn the new Gymnast and me on Instagram, then
There he
you
is. He got back up there.
That my dog has been having random seizures. There isn't really any known cause, and none of the vets are wanting to put him on medication yet. And yes, he's seen 3 vets. So Mr. Face on Instagram, if any of you also have dogs that suffer from seizures, and if you guys use any like remedies that you've seen improvements with, overwhelmingly a ton of you guys suggested that I try CBD for my dog. This is something that I did consider and talk to the vet about. I eventually found this company that had really promising ingredients, so I reached out to them and I actually asked if they would send me their product to try. Let me be clear here, this video is not sponsored. And then I have
This is Mystery. Mystery likes to hide.
Just because I prefer these critter keepers. And then finally we have these Grandma Soil poker peas right on down here that I wanted to try to breed because it's time, you guys. I think it's time. I think it'll work out. So yeah, let's get into it. Enough of me talking. Let's go.
Tarantula updates news.
Okay, because I feel like this might take a minute for them to actually like pair, I wanted to go ahead and get started. While they possibly pair, I figured we could do all the other rehousings and feedings. So as you see, he is right there and she is right there.
Hi, Mystery. You gonna say hi? You just pooped on camera. Hi.
No. Stay on it. Yeah. Look behind you, dude. No, look behind you. Yeah. My goodness. You see her. She's right